Hush sold for $50 million.
We were the third largest D2C transaction in Canadian history. We set out to change 1 million people's sleep. There's 3.5 million people that sleep with Hush now. We have $25 million in revenue. We had 3 employees at a 30-point net margin. And I was living out a very painful story.
What was the cost of success spiritually?
Yeah, everything. I never fully felt like I was enough. I always felt like I had something to prove. Very difficult to decipher what is truth, what is pain. The kid in me always knows the truth.
Aaron Spivak, brother, I'm super grateful that you're here today and for making space to be on the show. And I've heard incredible things, and I personally deeply resonate with your story. So thank you for coming on.
Dude, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course. Thank you. So I wanted to start with something that's really deeply touched me and my soul as I strive to embody the practice. And it's this quiet, steady pull towards enlightened action. It's not action that is fueled by pressure or urgency or the impulse to keep climbing just because we know how or we believe we should. But it's action that rises in stillness. That flows from presence, not pressure. That is as much of being as it is about doing. That doesn't ask what I should build, but why am I trying to build this in the first place? And something that has been alive in my heart is the question of how do we move forward without abandoning ourselves in the process? And how we lead, how we create, how we build, not from chase, but from choice, from soul, not survival, and letting the urgency disguised as ambition, choosing to create from truth, from wholeness, from devotion. So to begin, I want to open up the space with this. What does enlightened action mean to you? And what did you have to let go of to finally move from that place?
It's a very profound question, because I think at different stages of my life that probably meant different things. You know, and you mentioned the word truth. And I think if every individual, if they had to choose, could you operate every day from truth, or would you want to live a lie? I think everyone would be like, no, I want to live. Of course, I would choose the truth. Why would I want to live a lie? So the logical side of the brain always indexes for the right answer, which is the truth. But if I were able to look back, it's very difficult to decipher what is truth, what is pain, what is fear, what is my true why. And, in my youth, I come from 2 immigrant parents. My dad drove a truck for 28 years. My mom strategically drove the short school bus because there was five boys in my family. So she's like, I might as well make money driving you idiots to school, So she used to clean houses on the weekends. And, my parents worked 18 hours every day, and it was all about survival. That's all I knew. And I knew that money was never enough. So when I tell the story of, building businesses when I was 13 and 15 and 16 and dropping out of school, and a lot of people have mistaken that for inspiration. But I was living out a very painful story. And the story was that it's never enough, that I'm never going to be enough, and that I need to survive. So my truth was not that I was an amazing brand builder or anything. My truth was that I was terrified of living this life of never being enough. And then, you fast forward, a handful of years go by, things happen, good things, bad things, relationships, business goes up, down, you sell it, all these fun things. It wasn't until I was 26 where I was actually able to look in the mirror for the first time and be like, so what now? You're not going to die anymore.
Right.
You can pay the bills, you can take care of your family, all this whole story, right? This whole story I created was I'm going to be the one to erase this trauma. And then you go, you do it. And now, the big question is, who am I? And I feel like if you were to ask 21-year-old Aaron, he would stand here and say, he'd have a beautiful answer for you. I'm this, I'm a builder, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a leader, I'm all this stuff. I'm a caretaker, I'm a provider, all these things. But I think that was also just rooted in pain. And at this point in my life, I think it's the big word you said, which is the truth, and it's constantly trying to come back to it.
Yeah.
Because if people tell me, "Oh, I live a truthful life," I say I think I do too. But we all know that the world is designed to kind of pull us away from that, and it's hard to come back. It's hard to be mindful. It's hard to be present. It's hard to operate from good places. So, yeah, I would say truth is the biggest thing.
It's interesting because we, especially growing up, where it seems like scarcity, lack was a big part of your motivation and driver, and we see that whether you're an entrepreneur or have a successful career, trying to climb the ladder and bring in the money and bring in the things that we are chasing because we think it's going to create this external validation of who we are and get that sense of self-worth. And then you hear most of the time when someone has reached the other side that they finally get all the things, the accolades, the identities that they've built in the narratives, and then it's a pause, and this is the question: who am I? And we go through all of that, but we have to. It's part of that experience, right? To understand who we are at our core. So I'm kind of curious when you hear the Aaron Spivak, that's the identity, but who is behind that? Who do you feel the truth, or what that truth is for yourself?
I think, my truth today is deeply rooted in family, and it's deeply rooted in love and connection. Because if I were to go back and, if I were to close my eyes and think of the happiest moments in my life, you would think that it might be, a acquisition at 25 years old that on face value is life-changing and can do all the things that I set out to do. But when I actually did that and I looked at the happiest moments in my life, it was always with my family, with my friends, doing things, sharing experiences, things like, my brother's wedding, my brother's hockey games, birthdays, whatever it is. I love connection, and I love being around other people. I grew up in a house with 5 boys, I always make the joke. I said most kids, when they wanted to go to the schoolyard or the basketball court in the park and play, they had to rally their friends. I didn't. I just dragged my 5 brothers out. Like you guys all
had the team. You didn't.
We would roll up to a court. We were the 5.
Right.
We didn't have to piecemeal our team together. And that's, and every month now I try to create the highlight of my month. And, I operate out of buckets, so my personal belief is that, what is the definition of success? And it's different for everybody.
Totally.
But for me, it's like at least the lifelong attempt to be big in all of my buckets. And for me, my buckets are, business is one bucket, but then I have, health, and I have friendships, and I have relationships, and I have family, and I have, integrity is a big deal for me, and connection's a big deal with me. And how do I take care of all those at the same time? And it's like a lifelong quest.
That's right. Yeah.
And but every month, I take a look at the calendar. What have I planned? And I, kind of make some goals around it. And I say, if it goes exactly to plan, is it aligned with who I am?
Right.
And most months now, because I'm conscious of that, it is, like this month, I get to spend time with people. I get to travel. I get to do the things I love to do. I flew to Toronto, did my dad's 69th birthday, which was amazing.
That's amazing.
My brother's coming down to my house for the first time with his kids in Miami, and I'm like looking forward to that. I'm like, I already told him it's like my lifelong mission is for his kids' first time coming to Miami for their childhood trauma to be leaving Uncle Aaron's house, And that's what I've learned is that's what moves me,
Right.
Not. If the business were to double in revenue by the time this podcast is over, I think I would be like, cool, awesome. But I don't think I would put that in front of anything else that I know is my truth.
I'm curious with Hush, the company that you sold for $50 million, which incredible accomplishment. And, as an entrepreneur, you go through all that time building something and you're putting, I'm sure, your heart, your soul into it. And you built something that was massively successful and then you let it go. What do you think you were letting go of?
I came up with an analogy by accident during a keynote 2 weeks ago. And I try not to do this because I have a tendency to just like go off and say stuff. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I did that this time and it worked. So I'll say it again and maybe it'll work. But essentially, when you sell your business, which is, I guess, as an entrepreneur, this like the one thing, like at some point you either want to like pass it down to your children or have some sort of liquidity event, right? That's kind of how businesses go for the most part, or they fail, but no one plans for that, right? That's not what's going to happen to me, right? That's not going to happen to me. So, it's everyone wants this, and it happens if you're really lucky. And we were, and everyone celebrates you. It's a big deal. This was my identity. This is something I worked on 16 to 18 hours a day for 4 years straight. This was who I was. People would save my name in their phone as Blanket Boy, not Aaron.
Blanket Boy.
Blanket Boy. That was me. And I remember post-sale, I kind of, I left my house, moved back into my mom's basement, and was like a bear in the winter, basically. I did not come out. I didn't think I was depressed at the time. I thought I was just being smart. I don't know what my logic was, but looking back, I was totally depressed and sad and felt I couldn't describe it at the time. And so my analogy was, most people can relate to this. If you have a dog, do you have a dog?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so you buy, you get this dog, you either get it from a shelter, it doesn't matter. You spend every day with this dog. You're thinking about the dog. You probably thought about the dog before this. Who's going to feed it? Who's going to take it out? You're always thinking about the dog. You love the dog.
Right.
You raise the dog 5 years, 7 years, doesn't matter. And one day someone comes and knocks on your door and says, I love your dog too. I think I love your dog more than you. Here's some money and thanks for the dog. And then you take the money, they take your dog, they make a news article saying, I took his dog and I gave him money. Everybody knows that you gave your dog away for money.
Right.
And on top of that, everybody then comes to your house and goes, you gave your dog away. Dude, no way. You're such a success. What are you going to do with the money? You gave the dog, you going to get another dog? Like, what's the next dog going to be? Is it going to be a better dog? And you're sitting there and you're like, I should be happy.
Yeah.
I should be ecstatic. I did it.
Right.
No one wanted your dog. They got my dog.
Right.
But that's the way it feels. And a lot of people's identity is trapped in their dog, sure. And there's love there. There's connection. You took something from nothing and you created something beautiful that you always dreamed of giving away, but you never really understood what that meant. And you also never make a plan for what's next.
Right.
And that's really the authentic feeling of what it is. And now with the community and stuff like that, or even just making content about this, the amount of founders I know, at least on the other side of that, can seemingly relate to it.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing, because I remember going to like a really good friend of mine, and I was like, he's like, how you feeling about it all? You know, he's worked in P, like he's been, you know, he's had a job for a while, and
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, it sucks. I think I might just like move somewhere and figure out my life. And
Yeah.
and he was like so mad. He's like, dude, are you kidding? I think about, you can buy this and you can buy that, and your life is this and your life is that. And
Right.
like, people would kill to have what you have. You know, are you crazy? And like, I started to feel really guilty about the way I felt. I was like, oh my God, something must be wrong with me. I should not feel this way. And that's when my journey on kind of self-discovery of who I am began, because like in my head, the math wasn't mathing. Like, I should feel this, but I feel this. What is happening? And I can't talk to anyone about it because I didn't know anyone else that sold their company. We were the third largest D2C transaction in Canadian history. Like, everyone was looking at me like I should have the answer, and I don't. And there was no one around me to be like, yeah, dude, it sucks, but it'll get better. I had no one to tell me that. So I really had to sit with it.
So it must have felt like a lonely road.
Yeah. I mean, I think founders as a whole, I mean, you know this, you're basically signing up to go live on a deserted island.
Right.
And if the truth is at the end of it, like, you still don't know who you are, then what is the real purpose for what we're building? You know, like, we set out to change 1 million people's sleep. There's 3.5 million people that sleep with Hush now. That, I don't know what that means to me. It took me a while to like really discover that, and to realize that your business is not necessarily you. It's a part of you. It's one, and it's, you know, my old mentor told me the weirdest, and I'm curious what you think about this actually. Yeah. The analogy was like in a womb. He's like, you know, the womb is like the best place on earth. You know, it's like the best thing ever. Like, you don't have to do anything. You're floating around. You're comfortable.
Chilling, you're warm.
You're getting fed. You're comfortable. Like, you don't even have to walk. You're getting carried everywhere. You know, it's like, it's seemingly the best place on earth.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through a really like tight and narrow, horrible experience, figure out how to breathe, and you're crying, and it's traumatic, and there's lights, and you have to learn how to pee, and all so fast, and the people touching you, and it's like you go through a traumatic, difficult, narrow pathway, a horrible experience to get to life.
Yep.
And life is so much better than the womb. And I remember at the time I was like 25, and when he shared that with me, I was like, that clicked. I get it. And he was right, because, you know, fast forward 4 years now, I'm so happy that happened, and I wouldn't change a single thing.
It's always like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We go through those periods, and it's the darkness, like anything in life, it's the darkness that allows us to transmute into light. Without darkness, there is no light. And that is the duality of our existence. And, you know, the only things that make us stronger, you know, in my case, it was my divorce that kind of opened up, you know, this awakening and truth about who I am. But it's like, I look back and I go, like, it's exactly what I needed, you know, but in the process, you're just like, this sucks. As the, you know, noise is starting to settle and you're sitting there in the stillness and the quiet, what are the truths that you're starting to see that you may have not seen previously?
I think the underlying message, if I were to distill it down, was I never fully felt like I was enough. I always felt like I had something to prove. And a lot of that is rooted in childhood. You know, I grew up in a house, 5 boys. My parents worked 16 to 18 hours a day. when we had time with them, it was 5 of us fighting for like 30 minutes of love. No one did anything wrong. It's just the math.
Right.
The math wasn't in our favor, you know? And they gave us that love for when they could, but you know, you're competing for 30 minutes amongst the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And the message that a child receives is, you know, the times he doesn't get it is that he's not enough, or that you have to do things, right? So I played hockey. I mean, I score goals. I score a lot of goals. Everyone would come watch. I don't score goals. No one comes watch. You know, like, you know, all 5 of us are entrepreneurs. You know, the bigger the business, the more attention you get. You know, and that although it wasn't at all what my parents meant, you know, they tried to be there, and it was 5 of us, and they tried to pay the bills and make all the ends meet. That was just the math. And I think for me, it was. I remember saying to myself, because I was lucky enough to pick up journaling by accident when I was really young, like 17 to 18. So I have books basically I have 11 books for the last 11 years. I can go back and take, you know, what was I thinking in 2020 and 2021 and find the date. And I've been pretty consistent, at least every week, if not every day. And I remember like I used to write like, I'm the best. I'm super smart. I've got it all. Like I can make it happen. I can build this. Like, and it was because I didn't feel that. It was not authentic for me. And then I thought, okay, you know, if I build a business, then I'll be smart. And if I sell my business, then I'll be, you know, awarded and looked at. If I get on Forbes, then everyone will respect me. Right. And I did all those things, you know, Forbes, and sold my business, and BNN, and TV shows, and judges, and all this stuff. I did it all. At such a young age too, because that was the drive. And you do it all, and you're just like, still feel the same way. Still feel the same way. But it wasn't until that point, until I realized that, you know, this is more than accolades, money, and you know, success. If I'm going to become the self-actualized version of myself, at the top of the, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if I'm going to reach that, then yes, I did have to go through the community and the belonging and the shelter, and I had to get there for sure, but I could never get to that last triangle. I was like just constantly trying to get there, and it was like, wait a second, I can't buy my way into self-actualization. No. I need to go into me, which became, again, it all had to kind of fold the way it did, but it became the most profound thing that I kind of, profound journey, I would say, that I went on.
What was the cost of success, not just financially, but spiritually?
Oh, oh man.
Relationally as well.
Yeah, everything. Like I lost, you know, I lost all my hair. I had to get a hair transplant, so now it's pretty good.
I was gonna say, it looks pretty good.
It looks good now. That's $40,000 on my forehead. So I lost my hair. I was 35 pounds lighter than I was now. I had no friends. All my friends, I started business very young, 18 years old. All my friends were at school. They were partying. They were having the time of their life. They were doing things you should be doing as an 18 and 19-year-old and doing that stuff.
Right.
I was not, dude. I was working 21 hours a day. I would take 2 to 3, sometimes 4 45-minute naps, and I would grind it out. I remember one time we were $25 million in revenue. We had 3 employees at a 30-point net margin, and I was DJing weddings on the weekend because I wanted to pay my rent with that not take any money. People would take selfies with me to make fun of me at the wedding, be like, the blanket guy's DJing my wedding. Like, you believe it? Like, business must not be doing well. Wow. But in my head, I was like, you have no idea like who you're dealing with right now. Like, this guy has so much pain and like just that relentless, like I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad. And that was really like what formed that version of my identity. And I tell people I meet now, you know, and they meet me in business now, and even like some people that come work for me now, they've heard stories of me, you know, and they come and they say, oh, like, is this how it was? And I was like, you have no. that version is dead. Yeah. That version, you'll never see it. well, how do we get that version? He sounded so relentless and cool. I'm like, that, you don't want that version. You don't want that version.
Let him rest. Let that
But
one
the
rest.
sacrifice was huge. Yeah, I ruined a tremendous amount of relationships.
Yeah.
I ruined I was difficult for my family to be around me. I had one friend, you know, and I thought everyone was wrong and I was right.
Was it because they couldn't understand you?
I just didn't feel safe.
Interesting.
I did not feel safe. I couldn't rely on anybody. And I really could not. And which is why I've designed my life where so many people can rely on me. But even now, for me to rely on someone, it's like a lot of work.
But that puts a lot of pressure on yourself then. How do you cope with that?
Back then or now?
Now.
Now I'm conscious. So now I'm aware. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't know why, but at least I know what I'm doing. And I operate now 100% out of love. Always. My heart makes all of my decisions. My brain negotiates. It's a great negotiator. But I only operate out of love.
Yeah.
And I've kept people working for me that my brain would have probably fired a long time ago.
Yep.
But I see the human and I see the potential. And I don't care about the logic. I care about the person, and I want them to win. I really want everyone to win, which is how I kind of landed in this community business where it's like, everyone asks like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, helping others in a way. But we had one of our like members of like our community sell actually his drink business as well, called Mela, like watermelon.
Oh, Mellow, yeah.
Yeah, Dom. And dude, I like cried for like 7 hours. When he told me he was selling his business, you know, like that whole, like, because I knew what it was like. And like, I remember us just talking about it. And I was like, there was no one that he can talk to that felt the way he felt.
Yeah.
Except for me. And I felt like that responsibility of just sitting with him and being like, this is amazing and it's terrifying at the same time. But like, let's feel it all, you know? And it's all just love, dude. It's all love. I mean, I didn't get $1 of that sale, but I felt like I felt like I sold it, you know? And is it the most financially responsible, and would investors invest into that? Maybe the right investor, but it's such an amazing feeling to operate out of love now. Before, I was ruthless, and I had to go back and literally repair relationships that I knew that I didn't ruin anyone's life, but I was ruthless, ruthless, because every time something went wrong, I took it so personally.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know, didn't you ship 10 boxes to the wrong address? Like, you did that on purpose. You know, that was like the 21 of me, on purpose. You wanted to lose me $300. Why would you do that?
The world is against you.
Yeah, everyone is taking from me. No one is giving to me, you know? But now it's much different. And again, like, you have to go through that.
Isn't it amazing when that paradigm shift takes place and everything comes from love, and your heart, everything you do is heart-centered? Just the alignment of action, word, thought, behavior just becomes so different in the way you move and the way you build. And I'm curious because I resonate with the story, because I feel the same in my process and how I'm journeying through building my beverage company. But, you know, coming from this institutional, corporate, private equity background where everything was reason and logic, to stepping away from all of that, diving deep into who am I, finding truths about myself that I had never understood or even imagined, and now building something with such reverence, devotion, alignment, but it's knowing that it's not going to resonate with the traditional landscape, right? Investors, whatnot. And I'm sure I'm not the only entrepreneur out there going through this process. And I'm kind of curious from your perspective, what does like success look like? And how do you build from that place of just full love and alignment where it's not just about the profit, but it's about the intention behind every action.
Success for me is being able to wake up every single day with something to do, something to love, and something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I think if I can have those three happening in perpetuity, and sometimes one more than the other, I think that will always make me happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I in all buckets as humans, we love to grow.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of life, you know, like we weren't designed to just
What we're
sit
here for.
still.
Yeah.
You know, our cells are always moving. We always should be moving and talking and connecting. And that's what we're designed to do. And we have so much power, so much power. And, you know, I was going down the ChatGPT rabbit hole, you know, and
It's my spiritual teacher, by the way.
is it? It's honestly, it's
amazing.
It's out of control. And, you know, my ChatGPT knows me very well now, you know, and I got so fascinated with like atoms, you know, and we all know what happens when you split an atom.
Yeah.
You get, you know, a big bomb. And I was like, all right, what's smaller than an atom? And it's like a proton. It's like, all right, what happens when you split a proton? It's like, well, no one knows, but it's assumed that if you were to split one of those, it would be like the equivalent of the Big Bang. It's like, damn, okay. And then I was like, how does that relate to me? And it's like, well, we have like billions of atoms inside of us, but we have trillions of protons. Almost like an unlimited amount. It's almost like there's no actual quantifiable number. And then it's like, okay, if I relate that to energy, then I have an unlimited amount of energy and power within me. And now I'm like, wow, if I have that much power, I better be way more intentional with how I use it.
Yeah.
And so for my definition of success, it's best day ever every single day. And for me, that is spending time with people I love, building something I love to do, and trying to do something quite difficult. You know, people ask me, why'd you build a community business? Financially, it's not the smartest thing to do. Because people come and then they go, and you're exciting one day and you're not exciting the next day. And I say, yeah, exactly. Sounds horrible. Sign me up, you know? It sounds horrible, but it sounds like something I can do for the rest of my life, and I can build and I can provide value for others. And, you know, I play sports like all the time, and I try to really do it all. And it sounds hectic and nuts, but I believe, for me at least, that's life. That's life. Life is challenging and difficult and hard. I wouldn't want a life that was always easy. I don't know if that would be so fun after a little bit. Like, how long can you really tan on the beach for?
I mean, after a couple of days, you're just, at least for me, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to
go. I need to move. I need to make a decision or something, you know? Like, I need to do something, you know? And I feel like we are all like that.
Yeah.
At least as an entrepreneur, we are. We're designed to move and to shake and to provide value to this earth, because we're only here for a very, very limited amount of time. You know, my dad just turned 69 on Friday. And, you know, thank God he's in great health. And we had an amazing party. And, you know, when I left, he's like, oh, when am I going to see you next? And I was like, I'll see you in a couple months. And he was like, oh, okay, perfect. Because, you know, I like to go back as often as possible.
Right.
And on the plane ride here, I was thinking, you know, the average American lives to be about 80 years old. So you're telling me I've got 11 years left with my dad. If I only see him 3 times a year, you're telling me I have about 30 to 35 times left to see my father? That's way different than I have 11 years left with my father.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is how I want to live my life, with the truth, because that's the truth.
Yeah.
And what I just gave is an example of how people don't live in their truth. And then you're assuming he's going to be in equal health. Odds are that he's going to be as nimble and fun as he is as a 69-year-old as he will be as an 80-year-old.
Right.
Is probably not going to happen. He's probably going to be a little bit more fragile if we're lucky. If anything, way more fragile.
Yeah.
And so then you're saying from that 33, I probably have 15 really good times. Oh my goodness. I better be off my phone when I'm with him. I better be intentional with it. I better mean every word that I say to him. I better grasp and enjoy every hug that I get with him.
Yeah.
Because it's limited. And that's the truth for everything. And when people ask me what my biggest regret with Hush was that I didn't realize it would end. I did not realize it would end. I was having so much fun, and then it was over, and it was done. That is the truth for everything. Everything will end.
Yeah.
So if I can live with 100% love and all in, I believe we'll get as close to no regrets as possible when it's all said and done.
Death is the force of change, and is also the door portal to transformation. And whether it's a physical loss, a relationship, or a business, like it is the death that kind of transforms us into the next transcendence of our ego. And we realize how much we're attached to the identity, to the role that we're playing, to the business that we have. And somewhere in between all of that, there's that middle way and the balance. Our essence is here to create, whether it's to create relationships, whether it's to create businesses, whether it's to create art, expression. We're here to live, but to fully live in the expression. And I believe the divine is working through us to live that expression. And when you deny the divine, you're denying yourself to fully live. And that's where the disconnection, the misalignment is. One thing that I came across one of your posts that you put out on social, on Instagram. I think this was after your ayahuasca journey. But you said something to the effect of, you're no longer going to try to scale your soul. And I thought that was such a profound way to express that, because I feel like you can have these awakenings, you can have these realizations. And at least my truth has been, embodiment is essential, and the integration, the spiritual into the material, the integration of the lessons that we're learning. How do you approach that now?
I do nothing with force. That's my I've can be quite powerful when I carry a tremendous amount of energy. In fact, some people in a good way use me for it, I have friends, I'd be like, hey, can you come to my office on Monday and just like get my team going on Monday morning? I was like, you're using me as a mascot. Okay, fine, I'll come. I love it, Or when I do keynotes, so they always put me first, because they want me to get the energy, or last, to like save people so they can go to the after party or something. So I get that, God gave me that, and I love that. But with that power, I came the ability to force, came the ability to make people want to do things. And I no longer want to do that. I no longer want to bury my ideas into people to the point where they just agree with me and do it because they're like, I can't deal with Aaron. Like, he's just gonna keep going and going and going, and then you'll get tired. You'll give in. I no longer want to do that. I want to just operate out of truth and operate out of authentic energy. And I've noticed, every time I'm in alignment with the truth and with my energy,
frequency,
we go up, and the water, the gates open. People, the right people come. And then when I'm forcing, the growth is happening, but it's painful. And things are breaking, and people are leaving, and I'm stressed, and it's hard, but I'm making it happen because I'm strong, right? And I can do it. Other people can't, I can. And then now I've had enough reps, at 30 years old, 12 and a half years in business, I've had enough reps. At least I feel like I've had enough reps to start to pay attention to the difference. And sometimes I'm like, oof, I'm forcing that. I don't need to, and in business, there's a lot of talk about putting the right people in the right seats.
Right.
And there's a lot of like people. It's like literally, it's like there's not chess pieces. You cannot just take someone and be like, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna be really good at it. I promise. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Yeah.
We're energy. How do you even? You don't just put the right person. You have to attract the right person.
Right.
And you have to give that person the tools and the freedom and the autonomy and the love and the space to be the best version of themselves.
Totally.
Right? No one just walks around with like a sign that says, I'm an A player. And if they did, they're probably not.
They're not,
right?
yeah. Exactly.
So then how do you do this? And then why do the same people who've had success continue to do it again and again and again? What do they know that you don't, or that someone else doesn't? Why are they so good at it? Every time they just do it again and again and again. They keep attracting the most amazing people. And what I've learned, especially on this time around, is like, if I just remain honest and truthful and authentic and operate from my honest energy, and I have a lot of energy, the door's open. And we've been so lucky. But again, it's a conscious struggle every day, because my natural inclination is to turn on that engine and plow through, and I have to go, no, let's check in. What's going on?
And you're able to, like, when you feel those moments, just take a pause and just let it sink in as to what's feeling forced action or what's enlightened action to you, or do you have a sort of process that you work through?
Yeah, I write letters.
You write letters, okay.
Yeah, I write letters. I write my freaking heart out. I write all the things that my gut is telling me to do, my brain is telling me to. I write it all out, and then I actually put it into GBT now.
Of course.
And I'll have it like, because now GBT knows all my letters.
Yeah.
And I'll write them. I'll just take a picture of it and I'll upload it. And then I don't do anything for 3 days. So I take the letter, I let it all out. I'll cry. I'll do whatever I need to do. I let it all out. And in 3 days, I feel the exact same way. At least I won't have like any of the anger or all that. I'll have a very clean and clear conscience, and I'll be able to operate out of love and authenticity. And the message is always delivered way better. Sometimes I'm just in my feels, and the letters help, because not everything needs to be like, you don't need to just dump on people always, how you're feeling. And sometimes it's good to just sit with it.
Yeah. Let it rise.
Let it rise, let it marinate, and sometimes you just need to be like, wait a second, like, why did that trigger me? Let me unpack this a little bit before I start going and breaking down walls and fixing things that don't need to be fixed.
Totally. I agree with that sentiment a lot. Strongly resonates for me. You were talking about truth, and I think there's nothing more critical in our lives to be able to speak our highest truths. And as we start to pave that way, as you are for yourself, and especially in the real material world when you're building a business, I'd love to get your perspective, because I'm sure other entrepreneurs out there are maybe going through the same thing. But sometimes speaking your truth might feel really vulnerable, or like you're surrendering protection, or giving up some sort of leverage. At least that's what we've learned in business, right? And the path to integrity might feel uncertain, but feels right. And so how do you discern that?
I think with knowing, it's with reps, right? Yeah. It's doing again and again. And you start to understand what your core values are, which was really big for me. Like, I'm a huge Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger fan. I'm a big fan. I just love to read their shareholder newsletters and just watch their conferences. And, I think we've been very lucky to just witness, a better part of almost 60 years of greatness.
Yeah.
And one thing that, there's two things that Charlie's always said that has really resonated with me is, he used to say that he allowed his staff to lose money, to buy the wrong businesses, to make mistakes,
Yeah.
to add the numbers up wrong, to take bad bets. All of that he's okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But he would never allow them to even lose one shred of their reputation.
Mm.
And that was profound for me, because it's like, that is a definition of a core value.
Yeah.
I will support you through all the mistakes, but there's one thing that does not fly here, which is a level of inauthenticity, lying, anything that would hurt our reputation. We can deal with everything else.
Yeah.
And that's from someone that beat the market 114 times.
Yeah.
Like 114x, not times, x. You know, $10,000 in 1964 would yield you 550 million. It's no better performing asset
Yeah.
at the time. So like, that is so true for me.
Mm.
And my core values are, you know, family, honesty, and loyalty. You know, I remember, you know, during our acquisition phase, because it was me and my co-founder, they would try to, like, you know, they separate you guys and they say, tell me all the bad things about him, you know, and, oh, tell me all the bad things about him. And I remember it was like, no matter what they tried, I was like, I would rather not do this deal than, because even if what you're saying is true, it doesn't matter. That's my core value. I will give you back all of the money, take back the business, and not create any form of disloyalty. And I remember we came back together after, and I'm like, what did they ask you? And he said it like in a joking way. He's like, oh, they just tried to get me to turn on you. You know?
Is that right?
Then I was like, we didn't even like ask each other, like, did you? You know? I didn't even ask him, did you? He didn't even ask me, did you? We just kind of looked at each other like, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Because we were aligned in core values.
Yeah.
You know, like not lying, not cheating, not stealing,
Yeah.
being loyal. Everything else we can figure out. The world's gonna come at you anyways. But core values, even if you look at the successful relationships, you know, the idea of a really successful relationship is rooted in core values. It's rooted in family. You know, like my brother can pretty much do anything and he'll still be my brother. Like, and we've all seen it. We've seen it time and time again. And that's really what's changed everything for me. Is like my core values are just so, nothing can pull me away from them. And if something is pulling me away from them, it's a sign to me that like, this isn't for me.
What are your core values?
It's loyalty is very important to me. It's something I just kind of grew up around. You know, I used to have one brother, he was a little shit, you know, he was always fighting and stuff like that.
Younger?
And we older brother actually. And we always had to like, oh, here we go. Like, we're gonna have to get into a fight tonight. Like, you know, he's starting it and you know, he's like the agitator and all of the above, but
he's bringing you in.
You're like, well, not this guy. This guy looks so big, you know? But there's 5 of us, you know, and it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if my brother did 99.999% of the wrong. We were going to step in as if he did nothing wrong, because that's what loyalty is, at least to us. And then obviously family is super important to me. You know, my mom had like a 3-4 year stint where her business took off. It was awesome for us. We went from like 1 car for 7 of us to like 2 cars, and went from like a triple bunk bed in 1 room to like everyone getting their own room. It was a good time. Then she lost it all in one day. The government just changed the law. She wasn't allowed to operate her business anymore. The whole industry actually fell apart. And I remember like when things were going well, she had so many friends, you know, people were coming to the house and there were so many people and it was awesome. We were going to this person's birthday and that person's party and life was big. It all came apart. No one came. No one was there, you know? And I tell the other stories, like, you know, a few years after that, my dad actually had a stroke, so he wasn't able to drive anymore. And I remember like when he had a stroke, he was back at home after, like in recovery, and people came. Like if people came, they brought a cake, or they're like, hey, let me grab dinner for the night, which is really nice of them, you know, like, oh, let me get dinner, or hey, you need me to take one of the kids to hockey or something, you need me to help out, here and there for like a week or so. And then
Yeah.
eventually everyone went back to their normal life. And I tell people, no one came with $150,000 check and said, hey, let me take care of the expenses for the year. When, you know, my mom lost her company, my dad, only the income provider was him driving a truck. He was no longer allowed to drive a truck. You know, we had to figure out how to pay the mortgage. No one came and did that. Not that they should. They shouldn't. Everyone needs to worry about themselves to a certain extent. And it was a bold reminder that all we ever have is each other at a young age. And that became a very strong core value of mine. You know, and I remind my family quite often. I was like, hey, you guys can make as many stupid mistakes as you want. I've set up my life in a way where I'll always be able to backstop you guys, and we'll never be in that position ever again. The next is community is extremely important to me. I believe humans are designed to grow and evolve in communities or be surrounded by like-minded individuals. You've, you know, done a bunch of journeys. You know what it's like to hear someone else's story and it change everything for you.
Yeah. It's part of the medicine.
It's part of it.
The community.
And you need to be around like-minded individuals, specifically men, in my opinion. Men need men. They need the right men, but they need men. And the whole world is designed to pull men apart, actually, for whatever reason. But men need men. And I'm a weird individual. I get all my energy around being other people. Some people need to like go be in a corner alone for 2 days to recharge. I get it. No knock. I'm the opposite. I'm like, if I'm alone for 2 days, I die like a dead battery.
You need to find it.
I get charged up by other people.
That's
I love
amazing.
people.
Yeah.
So it's one of my things is to always be in community, and it's a big value of mine.
I love that you touched on the subject, and I think community. I mean, I think there are good examples of countries around the world, in blue zone countries, where they live a lot longer, and a lot of that is attributed to the community that they have around them. And so, community is such an important part of the way we interact. And I also believe it is how we evolve, as you just said. And going into journey space, I learned that 50% of the medicine was the community that we were with. And I know you recently did ayahuasca, and I'm curious to learn from your perspective. It's your first time. What was the experience like?
It was nothing like I expected, for sure. I think I did the cardinal sin of like looking at YouTube videos and expecting like geometric shapes and war. Things happen, but not like that, you know.
Aubrey Marcus.
Yeah, it was YouTube. Whoever's making those videos is a genius, but that's not it. No one who's done it is looking at those videos. So that was a mistake. But I went in with just a clear intention to really just uncover another layer of myself, and to, in a way, heal my heart. That was really my guiding intention. No clue how I was going to do that, but I felt called to go. And the first, I would say, like almost 2 nights, I didn't really have. All I had was journey envy, actually, because everyone else had an amazing time.
Always happens. First time.
And Aaron just, puked and went to sleep. He didn't have much. And I was actually starting to distance myself from people, because I was like, I don't like these people anymore, They're all having an amazing time, and I'm here puking and going to sleep, like, what is going on? I'm taking as many cups as I could. It's just not getting the action. And my third night was ladies' night, and where I went, they do like a feminine brew. So all the shamans are females. They separate the boys on one side, the girls on the other side. All the girls wear white and sparkles, and it's the music is different. Everything is different. It's a feminine night. And that night was like crazy for me, because it was it was the first night where I felt that I was resisting. Before I was not. I was like, take me, and nothing was happening, and
I said, take me.
yeah, nothing was happening. Come on, everyone's having an amazing time. Why am I not having the time? What's going on? And I was like, okay. And towards the end, I kind of started to really like get some visions, and things started happening, but it was very unclear. But I felt like, all right, I started to understand that I was resisting, and then when I started to resist less, things started to happen. So I started to trust in the process for the first time.
Yeah.
The fourth night was a Yahe brew, a very, very strong brew. There's like leaves in it or something. I don't even know. It was crazy. And the shaman just so happened to grow up in the same town as my father.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And so we like connected right away. And he just kind of like pulled me aside. He's like, tell me like how everything's going. And I was like, honestly, like, I feel like I just got run over by a truck, but I haven't quite, everyone else is having these amazing experiences. And he's like, well, just trust the process. You'll be fine. And I'll be with you tonight. I didn't know what that meant at the time. And that was the night that really changed it all for me. And I remember about halfway through the night, he came by and he's like, we'll do a cup together. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, this guy's cool, and they had those like leaves in their mouth, and we did a cup together. And he's like, just come sit. Because I was lying down the whole time. And he's like, come just sit, pulled up a chair. We just sat beside each other. And he would play this like harmonica.
So are they not playing are they not singing the Icaros?
Yeah, crazy live band, like 20-person live band.
Oh, so it was a band that was playing.
It was insane.
Oh,
yeah, it was beautiful. The music was amazing.
Okay.
But he like pulled me aside and we sat in these chairs, and then he pulled out this huge harmonica out of his pocket, and we both just like took the third cup. And Yahe's maximum 3 cups. It's the only night you can't take more than 3 cups. And he starts playing this harmonica, and it's like I can feel my whole body just like moving to this harmonica. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I was tripping. And he kind of like almost like pulls me closer to him, and he's like, dude, just like, let it go. He's just kissing, let it go, let it go. And it was my first vision, and he walked me through the vision. It was really beautiful.
That's incredible.
And I had I'll share it. It's a pretty wild experience. I was in a box, and I was like, yeah, I'm in this box. Feels weird. And he's like, what do you see? And I saw like my brothers, and they're carrying me in this box. And he was like, okay, like, how do you feel? And I was like, I don't know. It's weird. They're carrying me in a box. And he's like, dude, look around, and I'm looking around, and I realize I'm dead. I'm getting buried. My family's about to bury me. And I felt like super, in a weird way, like kind of peaceful. And then I was like, all right. It's like I can like see the mud coming on me, and I was like, this is freaking weird. And he's like, just stay with it. And he kept playing this harmonica. And these flies, they had like millions of flies come, and they would take like my leg away, and I didn't care. Like, took the leg, took the other leg, and he's like, what's happening? I'm like, I don't have any legs, And he's like, it's okay. How do you feel? I'm like, I feel the same. I don't know. Took my arm, like they're like trying to take took like my shoulder out, but I still had like my hands, and they pulling my skin off of my face, and I was like, oh, it's fine. And then they went to go take my heart, and that's when I was like, no. No. You can take everything else, but don't touch my heart. I would not let them. I would hold on. And it was the moment I realized that in my life, I give people everything. I give you time, money, expertise, connection, love, whatever you need. I give to everyone with zero expectation. but I don't give my heart. I give nobody, don't touch it. Don't even get close to it. And the moment I realized that, because I realized I was in the chair like this, like holding it, you know, everything changed. It was like flowers and like beams of light, and like I wanted to like dance, and I felt 100% love for what felt like the first time.
Yeah.
And I truly felt what it was like to have an open heart. A fully open heart. And I danced for 4 hours after, you know, and it was a magical experience. And I think it was the biggest takeaway from it all was obviously like that learning and trying to find and you know, to be conscious of it and to integrate it into my life.
Yeah.
But it's that feeling of love. I know what max love feels like, because it was like insane.
Yeah.
It was like I felt I had so much love that if I pointed it at people, that I would light them up. And it worked. I would like point it at someone and they would start dancing, you know? I was like, I'm Superman,
I
you
can
know?
see in the corner shooting
I'm
love.
like just shooting my heart. I'm like, who needs this, you know? You know, I was giving people hugs after, you know? But it was weird because for 2 days, my chest was actually quite hot. It was like warm, you know? Like no matter, every time I touch it, I'm like, hey, is it warm? Is it warm? Whoa, warm. And it was a really beautiful experience. So in a way I was lucky because of just that connection, but it all went the way it was supposed to go. And it turned out to be, you know, obviously a life-changing experience.
Well, I appreciate you sharing, being open about that experience. And I wanted to kind of transition into, you know, the stage of your life and this new offering, and community seems to be such a strong focus for this next evolution of your journey. And want to know more about the conception of the Founders Club, what brought you there, and what is the expression that is living through you in this new club?
There's so many different expressions living, you know. I think the way it kind of manifested was an interesting way, you know, coming out of my mom's basement when I was post-acquisition, where I was trying to figure myself out. I was like, you know, there's a community for everything.
Yeah.
There's a community for spirituality. There's a community for wellness, yoga, Pilates, whatever you're into, there's a community for it.
Right.
When it comes to entrepreneurs, it seems like, no, you got to do it alone. That's just, I don't know why. That's just what it is. So I was like, nah, I don't know. Let me go out and meet more founders. So I traveled for about 18 months and I held just dinners in 34 cities. I had dinner with 6,000 founders.
That's incredible.
It cost me a lot of money, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. It cost me a lot of money. And after every dinner, they'd be like, that was amazing. Like, no one here, like, what's the offer? And I'm like, oh, you guys are so used to just like eating a steak and getting pitched. Like, I don't have an offer here. I just want everyone to hang out, you know? This is just really fun. Thank you, you know? And then eventually there was like enough pressure where they were like, well, there's got to be something. And I was like, well, I'm going to go join. At the time, I think it was YPO. I'm gonna join one of those. That's where I want to join.
Right.
And it was amazing, you know. It's 100-year-old organization. They have built the playbook on what it means to work in forum and mastermind, and they have like 30,000 members. They're 20% of the world's GDP. It's fantastic what they've built. But at the 100-year mark, a lot of the people within the organization are like second and third and fourth generation founders. But there was nothing for the people starting in the trenches, nothing for this, right? The people figuring it out, doing it on their own, one step at a time, building something significant with meaning. And there's meaning to both, but this is different. This is this resonates more with me. You know, building probably the first sample in your kitchen. That's me. Yeah, that's me. And that's true entrepreneurship. I have an idea, let me see, and then, hey, what do you think? A little too spicy, a little too this. Okay, cool. What about now? That's entrepreneurship. And I kind of went back to the community and I said, you know, if we were to create something, would you join it? And fast forward 18 years, 18 months, 18 years, 18 months, we've been so fortunate to have incredible entrepreneurs and founders be a contributing part to the community. And we're not mentorship or coaching. I don't really believe in that either, unless it's like a mentor who's literally 2 months in front of you doing exactly what you're doing. It's irrelevant for the most part.
Yeah.
Community is much deeper than mentorship and coaching and all that. Community is energy. It's being around like-minded people through all stages of your life. And there's so much power in it. So much power. And for me, it's building for others what I never had. I did not have to waste my 26th year in my mom's basement. Like, are you kidding? That just so did not need to happen. I just didn't have anyone to show me there was a way to live life that way.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone to show me what the next move was. Is it to go into Erewhon, or do you wait at a certain point, or what's the strategy? And do you raise now? Do you raise later? Do you raise at all? Like, there's so many questions as a founder.
Sounds like you're building it. Yeah.
Right. What do I do?
That's what I'm going through.
Exactly. It's like, what is the next best move?
Yeah.
And it's best shared with the people who are in it.
Yeah.
Just because, and also you do the same. And a big ethos of our community is built on the foundation of an authentic relationship. An authentic relationship involves equal part giving and taking. Not every day equal, like, oh, I did this for you this morning, so now no. Over a period of time, it's relatively equal. We've all been a part of relationships, friendships that you give more than you take, and it sucks. And then no one wants to be the person that takes more than they give, because then you just don't feel good about yourself. So it's all about people supporting people and being there for each other and spending time together. And it's been magical because we've seen huge breakthroughs in life, in business. We've seen acquisitions. We saw one guy, Jay Conant, and I love this guy, from Ottawa, Ontario. Most people don't even know what that is. That is the capital of Canada, okay? He is a cop, I think 20 years or 25 years, works for the police. Came to one of our dinners. Didn't really have a business, but we always do like +1. So we always make room for people who just want to get in the room. Yeah. With a 3D printed cup. He printed in his basement from a printer he bought on Kickstarter.
That's great.
Walking around with this cup that you blow into, and it's a horn, like, bang. Going around to people, hey, can you launch this for me? Bang. What do you think? Bang. Bang. One guy goes, this is genius. Let's launch it. Fast forward 2 years. It's a top 10 cup globally behind Awala and Stanley on Amazon.
No way.
Yeah. They're
That's
crushing.
incredible.
And he's still a cop because he wants to get the pension. He's a funny guy. And that's the power of community. Because when you're in the right room, I don't have to vet you. I don't have to be like, is this guy sketchy? Is he honest? Is he a fake? Is he real? Is he going to steal from me? No. Part of a community is, oh, you're here?
Yeah.
Means I know where you're at.
Yeah. Because
Just
you know
like
that energy.
when you go on a journey, when you show up and there's 15 or 80 people where I went, we looking around, I was like, I know all of you.
Yeah.
No one here is like, I know where you, in one shape, I understand we can build a container now.
Yes.
Because we all have a common understanding of where we're at.
Yeah.
And that is the power of community. And there should absolutely be one for founders, because founders don't just juggle business. Yeah. You're juggling business, your life, your health, your wellness, your relationships, your spirituality. Yeah. You're fighting it all at the same time. And to do the part that essentially is the result of the way you feel about yourself and the family and the integrity and like all those other buckets, and also the thing that feeds all those things alone, is irresponsible as a founder. Yeah. It's irresponsible. And for us, it's at the stage we're at right now, 18 months in, I don't know, close to 400 members. I remind myself and I say, in 20 years from now, you know, our average age, I think, is 39, 38, 38, 39. So quite young. In 20 years from now, every single person is going to be at the top of their career. And wouldn't it be cool to know like 1,000 people who are at the top of their career all over the world, where you can go anywhere and meet anyone and do anything. And that's what really kind of gets me super excited. And we've got a lot of young studs that inspire the heck out of me. Like a lot of like 21-year-old legends who are so smart and talented and unique and oddly mature, like way too mature for their age. But I'm the guy to go to them and be like, I was you.
Right.
Don't forget to be a kid.
Yeah.
Because no one told me that. You know, like I wish I went to some college parties at least once or twice. Like it looks super cool.
Yeah.
Maybe just to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I never did any of that. You know, and I was such in a rush to grow up. And sometimes like I'm happy like I can go to them and be like, you're crushing it. I love you for it, but like go to the bar once, okay? Like just once. Like go to the bar once. I'm not saying drink. Go to the bar and just be 21 for like a weekend and then come back to real life. I know you got 20 employees but just be 20 for a minute.
Yeah.
Because you can only be 20 once.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And also just enjoying the process. Like sometimes we want to rush to get to that finish line, and then you get there, as you know, and it's like, you know, it's like climbing Everest, like, or Mount Kilimanjaro. Like you could probably take a chopper and take you up to the top, but that's not going to be what's memorable. It's the journey that kind of led you to there, to the top. And one thing that's, I think what you're doing is incredible. I totally resonate. I'm in that space right now. And, you know, I had a business that was consulting advisory, but it's totally different than building a product and going into market. And
everything matters. The font you chose on the back of the bottle.
Yeah.
The fact that you center adjusted your text, everything.
I mean, even the little plastic on the cap. I mean, I was so specific on what I wanted. Like it's just all those little details.
Yeah,
that
it's
resonate.
So important. And the barcode. So you did white, which means you got to do like multiple layers of it, so that it scans. And you have to do a border. Like
damn, you know. Exactly.
It's the things that no one thinks about. As a consultant, you would never think of that. You're just saying, hey, make sure it scans.
Right.
And make sure it's the right one that the grocery store wants.
Exactly.
But like actually executing it is
totally different.
It's a journey of its own. And every time you print a batch that doesn't work, money down the drain.
Well, you said something that I really would love to dive into, which is you really, you know, when you're describing Founders Club, it's not about mentorship. It's not about advice. And man, I don't hear that too often. And one of my things is it's, you know, especially in my 20s, I was running around always seeking advice from people top of their game and almost like wanting not just guidance, but literally someone telling me like, this is what you should do.
Go do this.
Yeah. So that you could get to this place. And I'm such a biography, historical reader. I love entrepreneurship books. And, you know, I found in the last 6 months, it's been really hard to pick them up because it's, you come to this place and realization that everybody's journey is so unique and different that yes, you can get playbooks on the overall strategy and like there's inspiration and ideas of maybe how to do some fun, cool marketing stuff, but to really understand and play and you know, if you want to play the book of Warren Buffett to be Warren Buffett, good luck. You're not going to be Warren Buffett because there's only one Warren Buffett in this existence. And what I found is it's still amazing to be open and receptive to people who have done it and who've gone through the journey, because that's also important to hear their wisdom. And then also really being aligned with your own gut and instincts and following your heart. And I think it's easy for first-time founders building product to always look for the external. And my whole path has been this embodiment of like, what does my gut truly say? And I have incredible people that I've met who've done it and they would say certain or share certain wisdom and advice. And it's just like, oh, it's not resonating. And so, you know, at first I'm thinking, is it me? Is it just you know, but I'm, you know, what do you say to that for the first time entrepreneur that's process, going through this process?
I would say always be very wary of people who teach or educate
Yeah.
to a certain extent. If they're doing it for free, then take what you can.
Yeah.
But one thing about the club is I'm never teaching or coaching. I don't run any of the calls, or I don't even do a webinar. I don't do it. I don't even, the keynote I'm doing tomorrow, I don't do to the club. I am a member like everyone else. Not because I'm necessarily more humble or anything like that, as I don't truly believe that I'm better by any means.
Right.
I'm figuring it out just like you are every single day. And that's what I believe community actually is. You know, the best of the best get together every day and learn. They don't get together every day and preach. And if you're preaching all day, then what are you learning?
Right.
So I'm always very wary of like, all right, like, oh, that was a good Insta reel. Let me go to your profile. Okay, let me click your link in bio. Oh, get a free call. Jump on this webinar with me. And I was like, no, like I want to spend time with the right group of like-minded people. There's magic. Like we do 4 retreats a year. Sometimes 3 days together. In those 3 days, there's enough breakthrough to change the trajectory of the whole year, if not the whole trajectory of the entire business.
Right.
In those 3 days. Is there a particular piece of curriculum that's no? Did we bring Warren Buffett to speak? No.
Yeah.
What happened in those 3 days? We just put 15, our annual it's more, it's 100 people, but typically the other 3 are like 15 to 30 people, 20 people, amazing people in the same room for 3 days, and magic happens. Magic, absolute magic. And sometimes it happens when we're all sitting around the table, and sometimes it happens when, you know, you're in the hot tub at 2 a.m, just like, you know, talking about how cool the stars are, and it's like, wait a second, you ever thought about this for your business? It's like, no way. That's the magic. That's where it happens.
Clicks.
Yeah, the cells, the magic, put people together.
Yes.
And magic happens.
Yeah.
That's our job, is to facilitate connection and to be assholes with maintaining the container. Like we get, you know, between maybe 150 to 250 applications a week, 5 to 7 acceptances. To be honest, not happy about that, because that's 245 people that we have to like sift through and waste so much time and money like getting through and getting on calls with them, and it's multiple calls. But the reason we do it, and the reason why I think it's so important, is because one bad apple ruins the whole container. It ruins it all. And sometimes it's not intentional. People think, oh, a bad apple, arrogant, this. It's like, no, sometimes they're just not ready. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. By ceremony, they've sent 3 or 4 people home after the first night.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. And I was like, wow. Like, and honestly, when that happened, my level of like intensity and intention went through the roof. I was like, whoa, this is serious. This is totally serious. They were not bought into the, like, I don't even know why they came, to be honest, but like they were breaking the container and everyone felt it. Yeah. And they're like, nope.
You can feel that energy.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
So that's our job. Our job is to facilitate the most beautiful, powerful container and the people. It's all about the people. The product is the people. It's not the Slack group. It's not the masterminds. It's not which resort we do the retreat at, or which bungalow, or none of that is the magic. We do it because it's part of what we have to do, but the magic is the people. You can, sometimes it's 7:30 a.m. at my house. We have, you know, our Miami cohort will come for an hour. We'll do some breath work, sauna, cold plunge, and we'll choose one question for the day. Just that. It's an hour from 7:30 to 8:30. Just that alone, sometimes there's massive breakthroughs for people. It's not magic. It's just putting the right people together.
Do you feel like the pain, the challenges, you know, selling your business, all of that has brought you to this point to really step into this facilitator role and do what you're doing with Founders Club?
I think it's reminded me to finally be a kid again. I stopped being a kid, I think I was 14, 15 years old. 14, 15, I would say, till 25, I was no longer a kid. I was a grown-ass man. I got the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was a monster. Relentless. Built like crazy. And then from 25 to 30, kind of was in this figuring it out phase of my life, tasting things, trying things, got a place in New York and Toronto and this, like, do I want this? Do I want that? Now I'm reminded that, like, the kid in me is undefeated, you know, like the kid in me always knows the truth.
Yeah.
You know, I have 7 nieces and nephews, but like a few of them that I get to like connect with, like, kids don't know how to lie.
No.
They're just totally honest, you know? They can't help it. They're living their truth all the time.
Yeah.
And as life hardens us, life teaches us to manipulate and to lie and to hold things in, because when we say it, people get frustrated or whatever, right? That's life. And now I just, like, the kid in me is thriving. I love hanging out with people. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna go to dinner tomorrow with 30 amazing people that many I've known for over a year and a half now. I've got to see their businesses grow. I've got to connect with them. And people say, oh, you only see them 5 times a year. It's like, most people don't see their family 5 times a year.
That's true.
You know, what are you talking about? Like,
true.
I have better relationships with some people than with their own family, you know? That's what the kid in me loves to do. He loves the connection in sports, and like, I get to play sports 6 days a week. I'm playing everything, dude. I'm playing paddle and I have roller hockey and basketball, whatever. I love it. The kid in me loves the competition, and the kid in me loves to build business. You know, I've always done it. Lemonade stands, window cleaning, whatever it was. So I'm reminding myself that the kid in me has always been the truth.
Yeah.
And has it all had to lead to this? Absolutely. You know, the dominoes had to fall. But I do believe in that everything kind of does happen for a reason. And my mission is now to ensure that others get to live their truth, because life is mega long.
Yeah.
It's short, but it's long, and it takes a long time to build things. And why not climb the mountain with the people you want to climb it with? No one wants to climb a mountain alone. That sucks.
Yeah.
No one wants to do that. But if we get a good group together,
Hell yeah,
we can sign up for a mountain, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, looking at the group. All right, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. The truth is like who you do it with. And I'm lucky enough to get to do it now with whatever it is, close to 400 people.
What do you say, though, to that person that's looking at you, listening to you play the more childlike role that you're experiencing today, and saying, well, you've accumulated enough wealth to do that now where you can play the child role? I get
this question a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the you that was successful was the serious you, the you that wasn't childlike, that was just grinding and hustling all the time. So what do you say to that person?
You're probably right. Probably right. But I know that, you know, I've friends, but I have one friend. We've been friends since we were 5 years old. Best friends. I can probably guess what he ate for dinner tonight, and I'd be on the money. And, you know, I know, like, best friends. And when I, you know, sold my business, he was handing out flyers outside of the bus stops for $25 an hour. And a year later, he's wildly successful. and now almost even way more successful than me. And so we talk about this all the time. And the truth is, it was inevitable. It was inevitable. And if it wasn't blankets, it would have been iPhone cases,
Right.
or tables, or microphones, or something else. It was inevitable. And I truly believe in that. I also think I was wrong about the way I had to be in order to get it. I don't think you need to work 21 hours a day. I think you need to be intentional. And I think you need to truly live what you believe is the reason why you do what you do. And my biggest tale, I get pitched all day on brands, invest in my brand, invest in my brand. And I love an e-commerce brand, not because I love e-commerce, because there's the quickest way to tell that a founder is not serious. And it's hidden in their abandoned carts. So for those listening, abandoned cart is essentially someone goes to check out and they don't buy. And as operators, we get the notification. Like,
Right.
Aaron was just about to buy a 6-pack and he didn't. I went all the way to pay and I didn't pay. But you have all their information. And founders then say, oh, well, of course I reach out to them. There's an email that goes out saying, you left something behind, or why didn't you buy it? And you capture 6% of them and they come back and buy.
Yeah.
Why are we not calling them? You say you want it so badly. Why are you not calling? I called every single customer, every abandoned cart for 3.5 years. I made 1,000 calls a month. I still do it now with Founders Club. I do 15 hours a week with our members trying to figure out how we can make it better. That works. That's who I am still. I've always lived and breathed the truth of business, specifically, even in B2B or B2C. It doesn't matter what you're selling. If you can't truly go to the source and do the things you don't want to do, then it's too difficult. It's too hard. I would call, we started the company with $4,000. So we never raised $1. It was brutal, dude. I would have to call people and tell them it's going to be late and the shipment's not arriving and you're not getting your Christmas gifts. And we had 2,500 people not get Christmas gifts in our first year. We're the lowest rated company on the BBB, the lowest. Like, no one has a worse score than us. It was awful. There was campaigns on Reddit against us. And I called every single person and I apologized. Some of them were 1.5-hour phone calls. I called every single person. I tried FaceTime for a lot of them. Some would take it, some would not. But that year we launched pillows and we sold 3,500 pillows in less than 24 hours. And I made a LinkedIn post saying, we sold 3,000 pillows in 24 hours. It's been a huge success. And every comment was, what was the email? What was the hack? What was the ad? What was the funnel? What was the offer? All this marketing stuff. And I was like, no, you guys still missing the point.
Right.
These people, I know all of them. I told them on the phone that I was thinking of starting a pillow, creating a pillow. They sleep on a pillow every night that's not mine because I never sold one. And I told them, if I were to make a pillow specifically for you, what would it have to be? What would it have to have? Big, small, good on my skin, easy to wash, memory foam, shredded memory foam, downlight, like the Four Seasons, all these things I heard. And I said, would it be okay with you if I were to update you on my journey, throughout the next 6 months, trying to make this pillow? I really want to make this pillow for you. Yeah, of course. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. I would update them, I say, hey, Dennis, remember you said you wanted a cover that was easy to wash? Check this out. A little video. Wow, Aaron, that's cool. Great. After 6 months, I had 3,000 people that had a say in what we were making. So I said, hey guys, remember the pillow I told you I'd make for you? I made it. It's yours exclusive today only. It sold in a second. We did the same thing with our mattresses. We did the same thing with our sheets. It wasn't rocket science. It wasn't an ad. It wasn't a creative. It wasn't a design. It wasn't my dad didn't know someone at Costco. None of that. I had shit. But what I had was my willingness to fall in love with the customer. And that is the difference between everyone. I did not have my marketing. I had some good ads, great, but I did not liquid death water.
Right.
You know, I wasn't that smart.
Yeah.
I didn't graduate high school. You know, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Mike Cesario is a genius. I'm not a genius. You know, I'm not Logan Paul. I'm not famous enough to launch. I had no strategic edge. I was a 21-year-old kid with a juice business that made me $1,200 a month to pay rent, and then I would DJ for another $1,000. I had zero strategic advantage, but I was willing to do what most people are not. So when people say like, "Oh, yeah, it's a little bit easier for you now to do the health and wellness and to do things you love because you're not so stressed about money," it's like absolutely right. Like for sure. Like there's some days where I wake up and I'm just like, I'm gonna go like play volleyball and like work out today. Like not so stressed about the funds, you know?
Yeah.
100% you're right. But if I look at the way I operate business now, it's the exact same way I was operating it back then, just with less intensity, less fear of failure, less like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, less doubt. Now I have 100% trust that what I'm doing is the right way. That when I connect with the customer and I say, hey, let me try this, you know, a little bit less cinnamon, a little bit more cinnamon, and you go, cool. 2 weeks later, hey, Aaron, sent a sample to your house. You said you wanted a little bit less cinnamon. Fuck, that's cool. Yeah. Now we have a connection. That is the idea of connection. There's different, you know, there's layers of networking. There's the shitty one at the top, which is like when you go to a conference, I was like, well, you know, business cards, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You don't remember shit, right? Yeah. That's what people think networking is. For me, that's exploitation. Yeah. How can I exploit these people to get what I want? Transactional. Then there's a little bit of a layer deeper where it's, I can call you and you'll answer. Whoa, that's like another level. Because most people, you know, not gonna, who's this guy? I don't know. I don't remember. You know, call and answer. Great. People, really good networkers, they have a lot of people in that world. Okay, they're good at maintaining a relationship. Then there's the real level, which is, there's two, it's like kind of branches into two. There's one is, I'll call you, you'll answer, and you'll do something for me on the spot without zero expectation. And vice versa. You call me, I would do something for you. And then there's the other one is, if I'm not in the room, you would still vouch for me. And that's, they're the same level, but they branch into two different scenarios. And I would vouch for you. Yeah. It's equal part. So those are both equal parts. My whole life around community, my whole life around building businesses is how many people I can get in that bottom. We opened our first store in the busiest mall in Canada. It's called Yorkdale Mall, highest grossing mall in the country. And I think behind Mall of America, it's the highest grossing per square foot. It's the best mall, like the best mall. You have to have a minimum of 25 locations to even get in that mall. They don't do pop-ups and they don't do first stores. There's only 7 Canadian brands in that actual store. They had a break between a lease for 3 months between someone leaving and someone coming in. I begged, like, please give me these 3 months. And like, I'll earn it. I'll pay whatever you want. Yeah. They're like, okay, give it to us in the exact same condition, like terrible conditions. I was like, fuck it, we're going to do it. I was like, we need PR, influencers. I'm going nuts, you know? This is like a big deal. So I used to go to this mall as a kid. This was like a dream come true. This was it. This was making it. Where I'm from, this is making it. And all of the PR, all of the news outlets, all of the influencers, they were like, yo, bad news. Aloe is opening up in the mall. They came to Canada, so it's a big deal. Aloe's coming to Canada. They're opening up 4 doors down from us the same day, and they're paying all these influencers. So none of the influencers are coming to us. They're like, I was like, fuck, what are the odds, you know? Record for opening in the mall was 1,400 people. It was set by when one of the LVMH brands came. I forget, one of them. Might have been Gucci or whatever. Yeah. One of those brands came, had 1,400 people. Previous before that was Apple, which was like years before that. It was the original flagship, was 900 people. Aloe had 1,500 people that day. They broke the record. We had 1,850. Wow. We hold the record. Aloe had all of the influencers, all of the media, all of the girls on social media. They had everybody. Very beautiful store. Right. Everyone looked amazing in that store. Okay. Sure. We had 1,800 customers that drove 3 to 4 hours to come see us. Yeah. I've got a photo, and I remember one of the board members that purchased our company. She said in 35 years in sleep, she never would have guessed people bought blankets and I signed them with permanent marker. That person sleeps now. I have a photo of it. I'll send it to you so you can use it in this clip.
I love it. Yeah.
A photo of it, of my in permanent marker on a blanket they're gonna sleep with. Her jaw was on the floor. She's like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And I said, well, first of all, his name is Santosh, that guy. And he reached out to me when he was in between jobs. He went through a really, really difficult time in his life. And it was Christmas. And he's like, he bought a blanket and then he's like, I have to return it because I literally just can't pay the Visa bill. And I was like, I'll make you a deal. You keep it. If everything goes well for you, one day you come, you buy a blanket, you buy another blanket. And he drove, I think it was like 4 hours from Ottawa because he ended up securing an amazing job at a bank and came to buy a blanket in the store as a thank you.
That's
the only reason I know that story is because I used to call all my refunds and I'd be like, why are you refunding? How can I make this better? And he told me that story.
That's beautiful.
And that's the difference. We had connection. We had people down here. Aloe had people here. Granted, Aloe is an amazing brand. Lots of money, 20 years in business. We were a 3-year-old DJ money brand doing $50 million a year. And that is true connection. That is true love. That is true branding. And again, maybe if I had $100 million, I probably would have done it the Aloe way, but I feel like most of the people, at least in the club, at least in the community, you know, doing whatever it is, 1, 5, 10, 50, 100 million, that's what it takes.
It reminds me of, you know, what Brian Chesky, founder of Airbnb, says. You know, I'd rather have 100,000 people that love my brand and love my product than 1 million people that just kind of, you know, mess with it. But
lukewarm sucks.
Yeah, it's like you want to build that closeness, that you know, it's like almost like Amazon, right? Obsessive with the customer. So that's beautiful. And I think for the person that's asking that, it's really, you know, it might seem from the outside, yeah, you have the wealth now and you can do whatever you want now, but you had to go through a journey to understand and come back to yourself. It's the return. And, you know, our perception is our reality, and how you attract and how you step into things, whether from love or from scarcity, fear, will determine how you move and work through your life. And so, I just know that, you know, it's always easier to say, oh, but he has the money now. But it's like, it's coming.
Like nothing has changed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like post acquisition, I would say, you know, I bought my mom a car, I bought myself a car, and then I got my first home.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I do not live in a mansion. I live in a normal home. I have a normal car. You'll never see me in a Lambo or anything like that. I have a normal car. And that's it. Nothing. I don't spend more. I don't, like, it's not, it was never really about that.
Yeah.
You know, and I truly don't believe it is for anybody.
Yeah.
I think if you're ever lucky enough to get to that point, it really is a soulful mission.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You know, I look back, and the other day we do these boxes that we give to new members, you know, and we can use 3PLs and all these services, but a big part of it is like, no, I want us to pack the boxes. I want the team to put the box together. And no one on the team agrees with me. So I was like, I'll do it, you know? And people are like, this is such a waste of your time. And I'm like, I don't have an explanation for why we need to put the hat and the luggage tag and the handwritten note and the book. Like, I don't have an explanation for it, but I know they feel it. And I know it matters.
Yeah.
And it does. Like, you know, we launched the welcome boxes a couple months ago, and I thought there were people just gonna like wear the hat or, you know, say thanks for the book or whatever, but it's carries a tremendous amount of energy.
Yeah.
You know, I put the label on.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that, and people feel it.
Yeah.
People, you know, they say like, you know, nobody cares how much you know, that they want to know how much you care. That's really it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we love watching founders in the factory
Yeah.
and building shit. And we love it. We love watching Steve Jobs with the old computer. And we're obsessed with watching him talk about the iPhone for the first time and how it's going to change the world. And we're obsessed with AI and the people building it. And we're obsessed with this stuff because there's something inside of us that feels the true passion behind the person. You know, the best example is you go to a networking event and like you're meeting so many people, right? It's like everyone's telling you about their business and you don't remember shit. But there's like always the one or two people that like, you're like, I don't know what that guy was saying, but whatever he's saying, I believe it. You know, like he's going to be amazing. I couldn't tell you what it does. It's something with the computers and stuff, but it's magic.
You just know.
That you can sell it for him. You don't even know what he was saying.
Right.
And then I always wondered to myself, why? Like, why out of 100 people that I met today, there's 3 of them that I don't know anything about their business still, but I believe in them.
Yeah.
And it's because you can tell that their soul, it's so in.
Yeah.
It's so in. They're so soulful. Their eyes are going to pop out of their head when they tell you about the new integration. And you're like, I don't get it, but I believe you, man. I believe you and I want you to win.
Yeah.
And I truly believe people can feel where you're at in your business without you saying a word.
I 1,000% agree with that. I say this, my soul is in the DNA of it, and it's different. It's the craftsmanship, it's the intention, you feel it, it's the energy around it. So I 1,000%.
It's like food made with love.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
You know, like when your mother cooks a meal for you, you're just like,
just know.
You can give her, she can give you the recipe and even control your hands while you do it, and it won't taste as good.
Yep.
Why? It's just because of the energy.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, man, thank you so much. As we wrap up, I want to thank you for just being vulnerable and being open and sharing your story. There's a tradition I have on the show. I call it Soul Seed. And it's, you know, just a thing that you could leave us with that is maybe a practice, a ritual, or something that you keep coming back to find yourself in that alignment. And, you know, something that I could take into my own practice, the audience can, what would that be?
I would say if you can give yourself a minute to fast forward to the end of your life, whenever that is, because we're all going to die. And you were kind of able to just close your eyes and say, I'm at the end of my life, I'm, you know, about to pass. What would I want to be remembered as? And, you know, for me, I want to be remembered as, you know, a community builder, and hopefully an incredible father, a lover, and someone who was very situated and grounded into giving, providing for others. And whatever that is for you. And then I would work backwards and say, is everything you're doing today, if you were to analyze your days, your weeks, your months, your goals for the year, if you have them, are they aligned with that? And I feel like that is always a cheat code for me to make sure that I'm aligned with my North Star. And sometimes it's okay to get away from things. It's not, you don't want to be too hard on yourself. And then I would do the inverse. And I would say, okay, flashback to the youngest version of myself that I can remember. And if I can share a message with them, what would it be? And my message to myself is always that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And it comes up a lot for me, you know, if things are super tough, or I'm not going in my direction, or I get triggered, or, you know, sometimes I feel too at peace and I need like some action or something, you know. It's not always bad things. Sometimes I'm like,
Right.
these things are too good right now.
Yeah.
Like someone hit me, you know. And I just be like, oh, it's gonna be okay. You know, same thing. You know, when I just left, Toronto, and my dad's like, oh, like, I'm not gonna see you for, I'm gonna miss you, and I was just like, I know I'm gonna miss you too, and it makes me sad, and I can't wait to see you again, but it's gonna be okay. We'll be fine.
Mhm.
We'll be fine. And I think if you can give yourself enough space as often as possible to practice both sides of life, the beginning and the end, it really helps you decide how you want to live the journey, you know.
Yeah.
Hard thing to do, but I think very powerful for people listening.
I love it. Well, brother, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
For
This is
anybody
amazing.
thank you. And for anybody who wants to follow along with your journey, what you're doing with Founders Club, how can they do that?
Yeah, I try to make as much content as I can. I'm a human. Sometimes I get burnt out and I stop, but just on Instagram at Spivak, at Spivak, or if you want to check out the club, it's just the Founders Club, foundersclubofficial.com, or Founders Club on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. We also try to put out content for everyone. And if you're looking for a community, we'd love to at least talk to you and see if it'd be a good mutual fit.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being a light in this world and paving the way for others. And I wish you all the success with Founders Club and many, many more blessings to come for you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.